Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And Humza Yousaf has got to go and find himself another transport minister. He is having a time of it. Nobody wants to do the role because they all know it is such a poison chalice. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong. And of course, they've lost another one. This time, Kevin Stewart has quit. He's claiming that it's mental health. But we know the real reason is he was probably never up to the job in the first place. It all proved a bit too much for him. And so he's running away very bravely and claiming that it's a mental health issue, even though it's probably just an impossible job. And I mean, I'm not blaming Kevin Stewart. He is new in on the brief. He has walked into an absolute house fire. And he probably looked at what he was given and went, I can't deal with this. And I don't blame him. I have been to jobs myself. I've, in the past, had a client come to me and saying, look, or potential client coming to me and saying, look, I need you to come in and have a look at this. I've gone in, I've had a look at this. I've walked around, turned around, I've walked out. I went, no, I'm not doing that. No, far too much work for too little reward. And these people get themselves into a big problem and they don't know how to get out of it. And the trouble is, if you appoint a minister thinking, oh, well, he'll sort it out, and you're appointing someone who hasn't got a clue, then it isn't going to get sorted out. And of course, that's the trouble with the SNP. There's not one of them anywhere that's got a clue. Let's look at this and see why Kevin Stewart has done a runner. So Kevin Stewart quits as Transport Minister. Transport Minister Kevin Stewart has quit government citing his mental health struggles. The Aberdeen Central MSP said he made the decision with a heavy heart but a clear head. That he could no longer put in the hours required to serve both his constituents and hold ministerial office whilst trying to maintain good mental health. And I actually believe him. I really do believe him for once, because I think anyone going into, and in this case it's transport, but I think anyone going into any ministry in Scotland at the moment is going to end up with mental health problems because it is all an appalling shambles that is falling around their ears and that no one has got a clue how to sort it out. The only people who are going in and who aren't having mental health issues are those people who are A, already mental, or B, haven't got a clue. So you look at Shona Robinson, she's in charge of the economy and all the finance and things like that. And she sits there like, hey, I'm sitting there in Parliament like that, yeah. Because she hasn't got a clue. She hasn't got it there. She doesn't know how much trouble she's in. She's sitting there like she's the village idiot. She really is. So she sits there and grins and goes, yes, and she answers questions like this. Doesn't actually answer questions. Responds to questions. Doesn't answer questions. But hasn't got an absolute clue what is going on. And that is why she's sitting there all happy, because if she actually did know what was going on, she wouldn't have her hair on her head. She'd be sitting there pulling it out, eating her pencils, things like that. But this is what it is. You've got the ones who've got like vaguely enough self-perception to know that they are in deep trouble and they run. Or you've got the ones who haven't got a clue and they just sit there like that because they're dim. And that's what you've got running Scotland, honestly. Anyway, we'll get back in. He'd only been in the post for 2 months, but he had served in government since 2016, with stints as the Minister for Local Government, Housing and Planning, and a Minister for Mental Wellbeing and Social Care. So he is well versed in the mental problems within the SNP. It's in that latter role he was largely responsible for the Scottish Government flagship but troubled National Care Service. How's that going? Oh yes, the same as everything else. It's an utter disgrace, isn't it? It's falling apart at the seams, it's overpriced, it's behind schedule, it's never going to work. Anyway, in a letter to the First Minister, Mr. Stewart said that it had been the greatest honour of my life to serve the people of Scotland in 3 ministerial positions, all of which ended in failure under the leadership of Nicola Sturgeon and yourself. He told Mr. Yousaf he had been suffering bouts of poor mental health since last October, with a low ebb in early December of last year. Yeah, I mean, everyone in the SNP must be suffering from this because they all know what's going on. They all know that the game is up. They're all going to get found out, and a lot of them, I feel, may end up going to jail. He added, over the last few weeks or so, I have once again been feeling unwell, and I feel I can no longer put in the hours required to serve both my constituents and hold ministerial office, whilst also trying to maintain good mental health. I do hope you understand. Now, I will be fair to the man, and I genuinely am fair. If he is saying that it is mental health issues, then he is right to quit. No job at all is worth putting your health, mental or physical, on the line for. And if he feels that he needs to step back from that role, then I salute him for it. I really do. I mean, it's easy to get party political, but I'm going to step away from that, because on health issues, I treat all people the same. We are all human beings. I don't like his politics, but he is a human being, and he deserves the respect of being a human being, and he also deserves the sympathy if he is genuinely suffering. And I really do think he is, because as I said at the beginning, jokingly perhaps, but I do think that they're all going to suffer because everything is going wrong around them, and they've got no way of dealing with it. And the only ones who aren't, as I say, that aren't suffering mental problems are the ones who are completely unaware of the very bad state of play that they find themselves in. And so, yes, I think he's right, and I do wish him well. I'll go back, become a constituent MSP, do whatever you can do on that role, stay well away from the government, and I genuinely wish that you find peace, inner peace, and that your mental health improves. Genuinely mean that. And I'm sure most people do. I mean, I'm sure there'll be one or two here who watch me probably don't. But I mean, I'm pretty confident that most of the people watching me who aren't fans of the SNP will at least wish him a recovery if he is genuinely going through mental issues. That's because we are human beings. We're all human beings. But, that doesn't stop us ripping the hell out of his politics, of course, which we're going to do. Anyway, he added, personally, I will miss you in government. I don't think they'll miss him because he was there such a short time and the whole department's falling apart. But he says, I know you will be of huge benefit on our bank benches within our great party and will remain a source of counsel for many, many, myself included. He says, I wish you all the best and please know we're here to provide you whatever mental health you need. So here he is. You've got another one, basically. He's losing them left, right and centre. You do wonder how long Humza Yousaf can go on, because this isn't going to be the last one. It isn't the first, and it's no way going to be the last one. And people stepping in. Humza Yousaf has now got to appoint a new transport minister. But everyone knows that that's the last thing they want. Somebody will grab it because somebody will want that I want to be a minister thing. They have that thing, that grasping need for power. But they won't make a good job of it. Those most wanting this job are by definition the ones least able to fulfill it. And that is what is wrong. And that is why transport is and will continue to be a major problem and issue in Scotland. But anyway, I shall round off and come up. But yeah, genuinely, if he is suffering mental illness, or not mental illness, well, maybe, who knows, but any kind of mental problems, mental health issues is what I was looking for there. Genuinely mean it. Go away, get well, look after yourself, relax, and get away from the hustle bustle and the stress that job must undoubtedly entail. And I'm coming up. So who's next for the Ministry of Transport? Who's the next minister that's going to take on that role, walk into that office on, say, next Monday morning, take one look at it and go, oh, heavens to Betsy, what have I done? Oh my giddy aunt, this is an absolute mess. And it'll either be someone who's just so desperate for the role that they won't care, and they go, right, yeah, and they'll probably get bully, do this, and it'll get even worse because they haven't got the intelligence up there. Or it's someone who will walk in, try to do their best, work hard to try and do something, utterly fail, and then they too will have mental health problems. It's a task that has no upside, none at all. And that's it. So yeah, fair enough. Anyway, I shall go there. But I will say, in a final word, I myself in the last month or so had to give up a client because the stress was just too much. Couldn't deal with him anymore. So I do kind of have, a soft spot for it. I understand, completely understand where he's going. And I walked away from a client because of that. But I say to you, any one of you who's watching, if you have a problem, recognise you've got a problem, act on it. Either get rid of the problem, excise the problem from your life. If that's not an option, go speak to someone. For heaven's sake, don't let mental problems get you down, because mental problems soon turn into physical and emotional problems, and it can damage you forever. So please go, if you have got anything, talk to someone. And I shall finish there. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, do for heaven's sake speak to someone, and goodbye.